Now, fellas, I got a question for y'all. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, we talk a lot of sports. So, we were talking about football. Y'all, Pete, we talked about the WNBA. But we're gonna slide onto the NBA and talk about the Jazz real quick. And the Cavs. Well, and damn, actually the Wolves. Now that I think about it too, because they had a really solid trade. All right, so
Freddie, I just want you to note the distaste in his voice when he said the Cavs. But I'm gonna let you go first on all these. I just want you to know.
I just want to let y'all know
he has something against Donovan Mitchell. That's all.
You will see. There's clearly no distaste.
Sounds like it. I don't know, brother.
On the Cavs, like Reese, for the record, I have said the Cavs could go to the finals. Again, that does not sound like distaste. But then again, to be fair, he said I'm disrespectful.
It's not what you say, is how you say
the Super Bowl. So maybe his brand.
How you say it? There you go.
Is all. Who won this? Who won this trade? And long story short, and we're just gonna give the highlights, right? But you got Rudy Gobert, leading the Jazz. He goes to the Wolves. You get Spider, he leaves the Jazz, he goes to the Cavs. You get players like Lauri Markkanen, Malik Beasley. Those are the real notable players from that trade coming over to the team. Also, Walker Kessler was drafted. Who ended up winning this trade for you guys so far?
Between the three teams, right?
Between the three teams.
I'll let you go first, right?
Okay, yeah. When you say between the three, it's complicated. Because there's short-term winners and long-term winners. I think in hindsight, and when I say hindsight, we're talking a little over 10 games, who I think came out looking like immediate losers is Minnesota. And I thought they were going to look completely different than how they look. But definitely between Cleveland and Utah, I think they both came out looking amazing. Cleveland got exactly what they needed. And a guy that can go off and give you 40 from the perimeter, right? You have the two big guys who can rebound, protect the rim, make up for the mistakes up on the perimeter because you got a smaller backcourt, 2-6-1 guards, right? Mitchell, the guy who showed he could be clutch in the playoffs, it's now a guy that can close games for you. Then you have the floor general and Darius Garland. Now for Utah, of course, they stockpiled on picks. So they're going to be drafting high, hopefully, for the next few years. But even more so, like you said, you mentioned the players they got back. They got Lauri Markkanen and a few other guys. They got Jared Vanderbilt, so on and so forth. These guys are very useful pieces right now. And Lauri Markkanen, his stock went back up. His stock is probably the highest it's been since he had that one big year in Chicago. So you can actually trade him. You can trade Mike Conley. All these pieces. Utah winning 10 games? They're like 10-3. They are a top 3 team in the league as far as record right now. Lauri Markkanen is able to eat, and then you have that veteran in Mike Conley who's able to keep everything together, right? And I think that's important as well. So they have all of these pieces that they can move off of whenever they want to. The stock is up on everybody, and then for the future they have all these pieces. So Utah looks amazing all around, man. And then just Cleveland, they're championship contenders right now. Oh, just to clarify, both Utah and Cleveland right now. I can't say one more so than the other because I think they both addressed what they were looking to do. And then Minnesota is a loser out of this.
Okay. Now, Reese, is there? How do you feel about that? Is there one winner for you?
Yeah, I'm about to say I can't really disagree with anything Freddie said. He kind of hit it on the head for everything that I would probably say too, and kind of to even emphasize what you were saying about the guys' draft stock over there in Utah kind of going up. What's kind of even crazier, right, is that nobody on that Utah team right now is making over 25. And so you basically, and a guy like Danny Ainge, who's been in the business for a long time, he knows how to move money and he knows how to move picks. And so he's going to know before anybody else when he's going to pull the trigger on a lot of these moves. Yeah. But it's kind of crazy to think, I don't know where. I don't know. It's kind of like I want to see this team stay together and hoop because it's like it's a lot of guys who are kind of on a second chance you type of deal where it's like they get to go out there and you are going to get their best ball. Like the coach, and that's what you talk about Will Hardy, a Celtics alum. He is getting the best he can out of those guys, and you can tell when a team is kind of put together to lose. A team is put together to kind of just get by, but then it's kind of like, oh snap! Like you kind of look in the locker room. I feel like those guys are looking around. It's like, yo, like we can all like hoop. You know what I mean? Like we are all kind of like Freddie's saying. I mean, Danny Ainge, the best he can get is like low draft picks from contending teams, because all he has on his roster, like I said, is nobody making over 25 and guys who can attribute to winning. And so when you think about it like that, it's kind of like, I mean, or I can just kind of pay these guys these middle of the tier deals and give them their proper contract extensions and kind of just ride this retooling wave, because you never know what can happen. For example, the Pelicans having the Lakers draft pick right now and having a chance to get Victor, and they just had no idea that that was going to be an option for them. So I don't know, it's crazy, but I would definitely say, I would definitely say Minnesota is just the only one that's looking like a loser, and that's bad, because I really thought, I thought D'Angelo Russell was going to come out this year
contract,
like 15 and 10 guy. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Contract.
Let me
for a contract soon.
Let me do this. Let me do it like this, and I'm glad y'all went at the Wolves a little bit in particular. Like, matter of fact, let me kind of get on the soapbox. Not really, but you know, I'm not. Mine might look a little more special than y'all's off the break, but don't be jealous though. You'll get your time. To rebut real quick. I think it's too early, and I think it's unfair to say whether there's a winner or a loser. The reason why I say that, the Jazz look real well. It's 3:49, fellas. Hella early. Like, it's the same way. Like, it's like a lot of time left, a lot of season left. Then for the Cavs, I still have them as a contending team. But if they start disappointing, well, we gotta see. So again, contention don't really start until playoff time. Mm-hmm. It's 3:49, fellas. It's hella early. Then we got the Wolves. You know, like the Wolves, and this is where my soapbox happens. We got the Wolves. You know what I mean? Like the Wolves. I like these. I like these Wolves. Now I think it's just a little bit early right now. They can defend real well. I think, long story short, you got to wait till next season to really see how they're going to shake out. Cat, Ant, you got to figure out who's really the better one between those two, who's the real leader. I really think that's going to take a full season to get over. Ant's still young. Again, you're not getting anywhere championship-wise, trying to figure that out. So I'm thinking next season, it's now 350 or early. So again, for me, I feel like it's a little bit unfair to say that, hey, these boys are a disappointment, or, oh, I got to say they're the loser, because it's real early. So that's why I'm saying that. But I also hear why you guys feel that, you know, they are.
And that's why I preface mine as well by saying there's only about 10 or so games in. Because you know where I got them. I told you I got them ranked as far as finishing in standings about a top 4 seed, them being Minnesota, because they have all the pieces. Right now, it just looks like it's just a little bit more going on behind the scenes that we made realize. Because Ant looks a little out of whack. Yeah, and you look at Cat. I mean, Cat is who he is, man. The best thing that could have happened to him last year with Pat Bev playing with him, giving him that edge. He doesn't play like that day in and day out. I think with Pat Bev leaving, they don't have that player that's going to stay on Cat. And, I mean, you can see Pat Bev is wearing off on AD now, right? I mean, AD is now playing a little bit tougher. He's playing through injuries, so on and so forth. They got to go out and get a player like that, or else I think they're going to be in trouble, because Ant is, as great as Ant is, and I think he is their best player now, he's not going to get after Cat, and it's literally hurting him, because Cat could be a top 3 big man in the league if he had consistency. So, but yeah, like I said, I have him still finishing somewhere in that top 4, top 5.
Freddie, do you think them going to get Rudy? Because, and this, the only reason I'm asking this is because I kind of kept, I wanted the Celtics to kind of aggressively go after Donovan Mitchell, and Trey kept telling me that JT may become complacent having a guy like Donovan Mitchell on the team. Do you think that getting Rudy Gobert and kind of pulling Cat away from the basket, because Cat isn't as mobile. Like Anthony Davis complains about running the 5 because he feels like he can, be a better help side defender as well as a better player by running the 4. But I've never heard Karl Anthony Towns say, I want to be the power forward. And it always felt like he could just give more as the center. So do you think them going to get Rudy Gobert kind of takes a step back for Cat in terms of his development? Or and will he get a little complacent playing next to a big that can kind of do all the dirty work while he kind of focuses on the pretty side of the ball, if you may?
No, I think it was brilliant. Again, when I first saw them make that trade, I said this is exactly what they needed. Because Cat, he's 6'11", somewhere around there. He's not a real rim protector. He was probably a better rim protector back in college than he is now, right? But he has so much offensive responsibility. Now Rudy comes in, he takes away some of that rebounding responsibility and rim protecting responsibility that you typically will have to rely on with Cat. But more importantly, I think the way of beating a team like Golden State and some of these teams out west is by having the inside presence. So if you can control the boards, control the pace, you can't outshoot Golden State, and that's what killed a lot of teams in the past. You're not going to win that battle, right? You got to be able to out-rebound them. You got to be able to beat them up inside on the post and have big physical perimeter guys. D'Angelo Russell is 6'3", 6'4", but he's not a physical guy. Anthony Edwards is. Kyle Anderson is a bigger presence on the perimeter. So being able to have that size gives you an advantage, especially in the Western Conference. So I'm all for it. I think Cat will be fine because Cat's one of the best shooting big men we ever seen. They should still be able to run action, big to big action, to where you can get Cat a mismatch in a post, or you can just post him and have Rudy kind of play out. But you can also put Rudy on the bench sometimes and run through Cat as the 5. They've been running like a 0.4 situation with Cat this year, so he's been a better facilitator as well. So they're trying to figure it out. Like you said, Trey kind of mentioned, next year you'll probably have a better idea once they really get a true identity. But I fear that D'Angelo Russell might not be a part of that.
Yeah,
in the long term.
Yeah. You muted, Trey.
Oh.
Trey, you muted.
I'm about to say, let's not get too deep on that one. Appreciate you there, Reese. I was going in too.
I know. Boy, I can feel it.
I was like, damn, it's quiet.
Man, what we're about to do is we're going to talk a little bit more about the Wolves, but we're going to see if somebody's going to want to come to their defense or not. But before we do that, I do feel like, Freddie, you might appreciate this one. So let's see how